Hello students, your topic for today is independence of judiciary. So the Indian constitution makes the judiciary very independent. It is clear from the following facts. First, judges are appointed by the president. Second, only persons with high legal qualification and experience are appointed as judges. So the uh, qualifications and the experience is counted. Then the judges of the Supreme Court cannot be removed from the office except through an extremely difficult process of implement. Then the salaries of a judge are very high. The Supreme Court has its own staff. Indian judiciary has an autonomous organization and status. It works as an independent and powerful judiciary. So now, according to Article 124, Clause 2, the judges are appointed by the President with consultation of the judicial authority. Every judge is guaranteed with the security of tenure. The judge of the Supreme Court or High Court will be removed only on account of misbehavior or incapacity. Then, in this same article, Article 124, Clause 4, it states that only the president has the authority to remove the judge in the form of impeachment. The administration expenses of the judiciary come from the Consolidated Fund of India. The judges are not allowed to plead after their tenure is over before any court. The conduct of the judges can be discharged if their duties are discussed in the legislature. The farmers of the Constitution instituted an independent and impartial judicial system. Although the judiciary in its functional image is not completely independent, it lacks in its implementation, but it's more texture in nature. The transfer of judges also affects the independence and functioning of the judiciary. There is no effective mechanism to protect against the abuse of the powers to transfer by the government. Structure of the courts in India is at three level, that is the district court, the high court and the supreme court. So, in the case Union of India versus S.H. Sheth, that is also known as the Sankal Chand case, in this case, the apex court majority stated that prior consent is not required while transferring the judges. Although Justice Bhagwati and Justice Utwalia gave dissenting judgments, the Janta government repelled the changes in the 42nd Amendment. The statutory provisions for the appointment of judges were recognized by Mrs. Gandhi, had suppressed Justice Khanna, the senior most judge, due to his judgment in the ADM Jabalpur versus Shukla, the habeas corpus case. So then the removal of Justice O.N. Vohra, additional judge of the Delhi High Court, because he gave fair judgment against Mr. Sanjay Gandhi. All these shows that the cost of being transparent and fair there. So the independence of the judiciary is always subject to the exploitation of the powerful as it is vulnerable. The salary and the allowance of the judges are secured in Indian constitution, but there is no time schedule for its revision. The independence of judiciary has suffered erosion because of the practices which have been carried out by the government. The retired judges can also be used to improve the condition of the judicial system. In the case of Orissa versus Sudhanshu Shekhar Mishra, AIR 1968 HC 641-47, it was highlighted that only services of any of the officers under the control for filling up such executive post as it may require the service of the judicial officer. The government stated that the High Court's judicial officers should not be permitted to acquire the interest in the Secretariat. The reforms on paper will not be effective unless the judicial takes initiatives to make implementation into reality. So, the prime law of the land is the Indian Constitution, and all other laws are formulated on the basis of this Constitution. Judiciary is the most important branch of law, and there is no substitute for this, as they impart justice, social, economic, and political will. It should ensure the quality of states and equal opportunity to all. Judiciary can be therefore considered as an artistic function and judicial economic distinction. According to Granville Austin, judiciary has been an arm of revolution with respect to the judicial economic domain. It showcases the need for social justice that needs to be provided to laymen. With respect to the judicial function, it is very different and it requires justice to minority workers, gender justice, and equal justice among the unequal in the society. Judiciary has the role of providing social justice to all. No judge should adopt any negative role with respect to this. So the role of judiciary is not that of a spectator, but it but is much more and should act as an active participant within the purview of the judicial process. It is more of a goal oriented approach. It should be based on constitutional values. The Constitution of India should take steps and also take measures to ensure the independence of judiciary. It should be backed by constitutional parliamentary sovereignty. So the provision for ensuring the independent position of judges of Supreme Court and the High Courts, the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Courts need to take an oath before entering. Once that, they are getting to faithfully perform their duties without fear, without favor, without affection, without ill will, and defend the Constitution of India and the laws. Recognition of the doctrine of constitutional sovereignty is inherent to his oath, to this oath. The tactic of appointment of judges also ensures the independence of the judiciary in India. The judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court are appointed by the President. So, the Constitution of India has made it obligatory on the President to make appointments in consultation with the absolute best judicial authorities. It takes the recommendation of the Cabinet. The Constitution also prescribes the required qualifications for such appointments. The decision should be unbiased and not on any political pressure.